Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something pretty powerful today, a 10-day journey all about self-forgiveness.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It is. We're looking at the Give Yourself 10 Days to Forgiveness Starter Kit, and it's really packed with insights that could change how you view, well, yourself.
I'm intrigued already. What's the approach like?
Well, it lays out this really structured process, right? Like 10 distinct days, each with a theme. It's not just like forgive yourself, boom, done. It acknowledges that this takes time.
That makes sense. True self-forgiveness, it's a journey.
Exactly. So I'm curious, having looked at this kit, what do you think is the driving force behind it all?
Honestly, it's the emphasis on self-compassion. Like treating yourself with the same kindness you'd show a close friend.
Oh, I see that. There's a lot about recognizing you're worthy of forgiveness no matter what.
Yeah, it's about shifting that perspective from self-judgment to self-love, and that's huge.
Huge is right. And speaking of perspective, day two really stood out to me. It's based on this idea that forgiving a friend is often easier than forgiving ourselves, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've definitely felt that.
So day two, it kind of taps into that compassion we already have and turns it inward.
It's brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
It has you think back to a time you forgave someone else. It's a reminder that you're capable of that same grace for yourself.
It's like, whoa, I did that for them. Why not for me?
Exactly. We forget sometimes. We deserve that same kindness.
It almost feels like a therapy technique, challenging those negative thought patterns.
Totally. Which leads us right into day three and its focus on guilt.
Ugh, guilt. It can be so paralyzing.
It is, but what this program does is it breaks guilt down, like almost analyzes it.
Untangling a knot. I like that analogy.
Yeah, instead of this big, scary feeling, you get a framework to understand it.
So it feels less overwhelming, like you can actually tackle it.
Right. And once you understand where that guilt is coming from, you can start addressing each piece.
Mm-hmm.
Makes the process so much less daunting.
It's so true. And then day four builds on that by talking about changing how we talk to ourselves.
Yes, replacing the self-criticism with positive affirmations.
It sounds so simple, but I bet it makes a big difference, like rewiring your brain for the positive.
It does. The way we speak to ourselves, it impacts us more than we realize.
So instead of I messed up, I'm so stupid, it's more like,
I made a mistake, but I'm learning from it. I can make better choices next time.
wow, that's a huge shift, way more constructive.
It is. You're acknowledging the mistake without letting it define you as a person.
I'm really liking how this program tackles these tough emotions, but then gives you actual tools to deal with them.
It really is like a roadmap for inner healing. And the cool thing is, the rest of the days, 5 through 10, build on this even further.
Oh, that's interesting. So what kind of things come up in those later days?
Well, they really emphasize the importance of support systems, taking responsibility without blame, and cultivating gratitude. All these things that help reinforce those positive beliefs you're building.
That makes sense. It's like you're not just forgiving yourself and then that's it. It's an ongoing process.
Right. And it's not about erasing the past either. It's about accepting what happened, learning, and choosing to move forward with, more self-love.
That's powerful. I love that. So day five specifically encourages getting support from others. Why is that so crucial?
Because sometimes we just get stuck in our own heads. Having an outside perspective can really help.
Like a cheerleader reminding you of your strengths when you can't see them yourself?
Yes, it could be a friend, a therapist, even a book that really speaks to you. Just that reminder that you're not alone.
That's so important. And then day six dives into this idea of taking responsibility without blaming yourself. How do you even do that?
It's about owning your actions without beating yourself up over them. You made choices, maybe not the best ones, but they don't make you a bad person.
So it's that separation, the action, versus your inherent worth.
Exactly. I messed up, but I'm still worthy of love and forgiveness, that kind of thing.
And then day seven brings in gratitude. That seems like a bit of a change of pace.
It is, but gratitude is powerful.
Uh,
It helps you focus on the good, even when things are tough.
it's like a counterbalance to all that guilt and regret.
Yeah, you remember all the good in your life, your strengths, what makes you happy. It helps you see the bigger picture.
And then day eight gets into visualization, picturing a life without self-blame. Why is that important?
Well, our minds are amazing.
Right.
When we visualize something clearly, we're basically telling our subconscious, this is possible.
So you're training your mind to believe in a future where self-forgiveness is real.
Exactly. Shifting the focus from the past to what can be.
Right.
And finally, we get to day 9, celebrating forgiveness. What does that even look like? It's about acknowledging your journey, honoring your commitment to yourself. Maybe you do something nice for yourself, just mark the occasion.
like a graduation ceremony for your soul. You've done the work, time to celebrate.
I love that. It really captures the essence of it.
So as we're wrapping up this look at the first 9 days, what's sticking with you? What stands out?
For me, it's how consistently they emphasize self-compassion. It's just every single day, like, be kind to yourself even when it's hard.
That's such an important reminder. And it leads us to day 10, where it all comes together. I'm curious how this kit guides you to actually make that act of self-forgiveness stick.
So day 10, it's kind of a culmination. It has you write a forgiveness declaration.
A what?
Yeah, you basically write out a statement where you explicitly forgive yourself, like for the specific thing you've been working through.
Oh, I get it. Putting it into words. That's got to be powerful.
It is. It's like making it official,
Yeah.
you know, releasing that guilt, that regret.
Yeah, like closing the book on that chapter.
And then after you write it, they encourage you to, like, celebrate, acknowledge that you've reached this point, that you've committed to being kinder to yourself.
It's like a graduation from self-blame to self-acceptance.
Uh-huh. I love that. So true.
As we're wrapping up this look at all 10 days, what are you taking away from this? What really stands out?
I think the biggest thing for me is that reminder, forgiveness isn't weak. It's actually a really strong act of self-love.
It's choosing to let go of the past and create a future where you're not holding yourself back with all that blame.
And recognizing that you're worthy of compassion, even when you mess up.
We all need to hear that, honestly.
We do. We're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
This program, it gives you a way out of that cycle.
It's not a one-time thing either, right? Self-forgiveness, it's something you keep working on.
It is. Like, the more you practice self-compassion, the better you get at it.
I want to bring this back to our listeners for a sec. Imagine going through these 10 days yourself. What speaks to you most right now?
Maybe it's that first day, just being honest with yourself about what you need to forgive. Or maybe it's that shift in perspective from day 2. Whatever it is, think about where you're at right now.
And how these exercises, this whole idea of self-forgiveness, how can it help you with something you're struggling with?
Like, say you're stuck on a past decision. Could breaking down the guilt help? Or changing how you talk to yourself about it?
This guide, it gives you concrete steps. It makes self-forgiveness feel doable, like something you can actually achieve.
And even if you don't do the whole 10 days, even just trying a few of these things, it can make a difference.
I want to go back to something we touched on earlier, how we're often way harder on ourselves than we are on other people.
It's true. We hold ourselves to this different standard.
So this guide is about forgiving yourself. But do you think these ideas, could they apply to forgiving others too? Or even asking for forgiveness?
That's interesting. That need to understand, to have empathy, to let go of negativity, that definitely goes beyond just ourselves.
It's like once you learn to forgive yourself, it ripples outward. It changes how you interact with everyone.
Maybe those steps, acknowledging what happened, seeing the other person's side, communicating with compassion, maybe that's a path to forgiving others too.
It's definitely something to think about as we continue to, grow and learn in our own lives.
It is. I think that's a great place to leave it for now. This whole conversation about self-forgiveness, it's been pretty powerful, don't you think?
Totally. It's like we've uncovered this whole new way of looking at things.
It's a gift we can give ourselves. Freedom, peace, a chance to really live a better life.
That's beautiful. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's really amazing when you think about it. We've been talking about this 10-day program, but it feels like we've uncovered so much more than that, like tools we can use every day in all parts of our lives.
Yeah, it's not just about those 10 days. It's like a shift in how you see yourself.
You mentioned earlier that self-forgiveness isn't a one-time thing, it's a process. What would you say to someone who maybe tried this program and, they're still struggling, they haven't reached that, perfect self-forgiveness?
First of all, good for you for even trying. It's so important to remember there's no finish line here. It's about progress, not perfection.
So it's more about building that habit of self-compassion, like a muscle you keep working out.
Exactly. And some days are going to be harder than others. That's okay. Just keep practicing.
This whole deep dive, it's given us so much to think about. The why, the how, and the encouragement to just keep going.
I hope so. And I hope it inspires people to, really look at their own journey with self-forgiveness.
If someone is feeling inspired, where should they go from here? What are some ways to keep exploring this?
Oh, there's so many options. Journaling, meditation, maybe even talking to a therapist, or even just doing things that make you happy, nurturing yourself.
It's all connected. This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It really has. And remember, forgiving yourself, it's not selfish. It's a way to free yourself to live a better, happier life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into self-forgiveness. We'll see you next time.